everyone, it's Jen with Jen DeBell Designs, and today I'm going to walk you through my little finished project for Country Craft Creations design team. This is a 5x7 trifold chipboard folio album. I've used the Summer Break from Echo Park paper collection along with the coordinating solids that go with that. Those are all linked below. I've also used some of the brads and the stickers and a couple pieces of the chipboard. I do have plenty of leftover, so I will be making a bonus project or two in the coming days with this paper. And following this little walkthrough, I will have the full tutorial on the base of my album. So I have this popped up on chipboard, one of the 4x4s that I cut down a little bit. Cut out one of the cameras and suns from the 2x2 sheet. Again, this is one of the brads. There's 3 of them here. I used Navy Artisan, and also I used the 65-pound white smooth cardstock Artisan. So I did add one of the little 2x2s on the back and a little bit of the paper that I had. And I will link the color of the seam binding I used below. For some reason it's not coming to me, so when you open this little folio up, the first thing you have here is this cascading waterfall with various sizes, starting from small to large. And this has a magnet, and it also has a place here if you want to add a photo. We'll use some of the stickers on these pages. So you have your first one here. The backs of these are white, and I did embellish them with stickers. And then your next one, I tried to coordinate my stickers with the paper below. As you can see, I have the yellow skates here. Then I have the kind of aqua colored skates, and I have that little barefoot and free sticker. And then this one has the blue skates and big fun banner sticker. And then I put the summer break here. There's a pocket below, and the pocket has this fun little 4x6 journaling element card, and I made that into a photo mat. Like I said, there is a magnet on the underside here, and then there is a magnet on the underside of this blue paper, which is one of the solid coordinating papers. Over here on this panel, we have a nice little angled pocket. Super simple to do. You just cut your paper, score it half on the side and on the bottom, and then cut your angle and slap it on down there. This is a fun little paper piece. I love doing this because I just think it adds more color. And this one is a flip up. And I also added one of the other little elements. There's a sheet of these with different colors. And I left that so that if you wanted to give this as a gift, you could pop a gift card in there or cash. Or you can put a picture in there too. So then we move to our fun middle panel. This middle panel has a belly band, and again, I used that seam binding. We have 2 little, well, one is a bifold, 2 little inserts here. I used the navy for all of my inserts, Navy Artisan. Again, I did some paper piecing here and another flip up bifold. And we will just put those back in. And I do have a little piece of the chipboard here, the outside all day. What that does is it keeps the inserts from falling when you pick the album up. I hate it when my inserts fall out. So I'm going to leave that untied, and we're going to flip this way so that you can see all the fun stuff inside. So we have different pages here that you can put photos. I did this little ice cream truck sticker I popped up on paper and just put it down on the bottom with glue so that you can tuck a picture in there. And then we'll fold over again. We have another one here, that little hopscotch game. And as you can see, this folds all the way out. We're going to flip it the other way. And we have this here, used one of the stickers. And then we have a pocket here that you can put some. Now, I didn't put any kind of photo mat in here. I just left it as a pocket. Some of the stickers, and that is the fun little swimsuit print. And again, this will fold out like an accordion. So we can tie that up. Get my stuff straightened out here a little bit. I like stuff to be straightened out. You can pack quite a few photos in this folio. I left room, so nothing alligator mouths or does any of that. Here we have a stacked pocket on the back, and we have a single 4x6, so it's 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then a 3x4, so this is a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 bifold. And then we have a 4x4, so this one is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and it is not a bifold, it is just a flip around. So that is my fun little summer break project. Again, it's 5x7, and I go over at the beginning of my tutorial, which is coming up next, what you need to make the album base using the lay flat method, and what you will need for the pages as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this little walkthrough and continue on to the tutorial. Have a great day. Hi everyone, it's Jen. So we are going to get this little folio made today. If you saw my little sneak peek and watched my walkthrough, you know this is a fun little summer one. We are using, I need to grab the paper again. We will be using Echo Park's Summer Break. Super colorful, super vibrant. And I will be using the lay flat method to make my trifold folio. It is 5x7, has 3 panels, and those 3 panels, like I said, were all done in the lay flat method, which I've linked below, and I used Navy Artisan cardstock for that. Never mind my little rips over here and boo-boos. We will get to that later. So this is going to have a fun couple little elements. It's not a huge project, but you do need 3 pieces of regular weight chipboard at 5x7 and 2 at 1x7. The papers to wrap those are going to be 7x9, 7x9, and 7x9 for your 3 panels. And then these will be 4x9 for your 2 spines. So 2 at 4x9 of the Navy Artisan, 3 at 7x9. All right, so that's that. Now we're going to get into what's going to go on the inside. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some pieces to cover our spines, and those are 4 inches by 6 7/8. We don't want it quite 7 because we don't want them to go all the way to the top. And I am just going to grab my trusty glue here, and we are going to glue these down. And I'm going to glue on the side where I wrote the measurements for you because I don't want to see that when I add my pages. And I want to get a generous amount of glue on this because I want this to stick well. And I'm also going to grab my glue and just go right along the inside area where that chipboard, where we already have, not all the way to the top or the bottom because you want that 6 7/8 to fit on there. So I am just going to add some glue. It's okay if it dries a little, so I'm going to go ahead and do it on this side as well. This is just to help the paper when we press and score down to reinforce those folds. It's going to help with that. So then we just want to put this down. Now this is 4 inches, so it's the same as what we have there for our spine itself. And so you just want to leave a little at the top and a little at the bottom. And I need to grab a score tool. I don't know why I didn't have one in my hand. All right, so I'm just going to press this all down. All right, so I'm just going to get this nice and burnished. And then I'm going to let this sit and dry for just a little bit. And we'll put the other one on. Again, 4 by 6 7/8. And I'm pretty generous amount of glue here. And this, like I said, should line right up with that 4-inch piece that is your spine itself. It's just going to go a little from the top and a little from the bottom. Give that a good burnish. And once you have a good burnish on that, then what we're going to do, don't mind my mess up over here. I had a little faux pas happen over here, so I have a little mess, but that will all be covered when we cover this with paper. So I'm going to flip this upside down. I'm just going to go over those edges a little bit more, and I'm going to take a softer bone folder, and I'm going to start to fold this panel up just like you would if you were putting it together. And just want to find where my fold is with my bone folder and really work that in there. Be gentle, but also get it to stick. Okay, and then we'll do the same on the other one. Get that 1-inch spine to show again. And there we have it. See, now we are all covered. I'm going to do this. I'm going to flip this around. And I am going to start with the inside one this time and just give it a quick push over. And then we will fold up. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Get that worked in there really well. And once you get it worked pretty well, you should be able to fold it pretty easily, and then just give that spine a good burnish, and it will help with this as well. And as you can see, mine decided to wrinkle up just a little bit, and I'm just going to go in and burnish that with a flatter bone folder a little bit. So now we have our trifold. It'll be just like so, okay? All right, so for the middle panel, we're gonna do a little accordion kind of pull out with a pocket on the bottom. And I actually need to grab my gussets. All right, so for this, you'll have a piece of the navy blue artisan, 12 by 6 3/4, one at 11.5 by 6 3/4, one gusset that is 1 inch by 6 3/4, and 2 that are 4 by 6 3/4. Okay, so we are going to put these two together with 1/2 inch score tape. And how I like to do mine is get this 1/2 inch score tape right up to that edge. I don't want to go over, but I want it as perfectly straight as I can possibly manage to get it. Go in and snip it so it's perfectly straight. And then I am just going to burnish that tape down, pull off my backing, and what I'm going to do is line this up so that this side of my tape is right on. I'm using the 7. I like to use a whole number. And then I bring in my other piece right up to that 7 and let it drop, making sure that it's straight across, and you should get a nice straight connection between the two pieces. Okay, so then what you want to do is just start scoring. We're going to score this at 4 3/4, 9.5, and then I am going to fold on that 9.5 and bring that 9.5 up to here. We're going to score at 4 3/4 and at 9.5, and that's going to leave you the 4 inches at the end. Okay, now I want this, when I'm done, to open like a book, so I want this folded over. I'm going to put this in my scoreboard to try to get this as straight and even as I can get it. That I'm just going to fold back and forth till we get kind of an accordion effect. And then you have your last piece, which will be a pocket on the back that will adhere to our page in the book. Okay, so this is what we have here. We're going to have this that will open all the way out to there, and then you have a pocket that will be underneath. Okay, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So I am going to fold this up again really quick. So I folded it over, back, over, and back. And then I'm just going to give it all nice good burnish. And this at the bottom, again, is going to be our pocket. So what you're going to want to do with those gussets that we made, the 2 4-inch and the 6 3/4, they're all 1 inch wide. Just going to put those in the scoreboard, and we're going to score each one of them at half. So this is the 6 3/4. I scored at half. This is one of my 4s. I'm scoring at half. Another 4 scored at half. Okay. Those out of the way. And then we're just going to fold and burnish these. For some reason, this one's a little wonky. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I'm gonna fix that one real quick here. I don't like the way that one looks. I don't think that's an actual inch. Something got astray in my other cutter, so I'm gonna take this down to the inch it's supposed to be. Much better. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to miter all of these sides at the corner on all of these. Try not to cut my finger off, because I just about did there. That would have been for some great video. All right. So now what we have, we're going to put this on so that when this is on here, this pocket is here. So you'll make sure the opening is here. We're going to put our 6 3/4 next to where this is folding. So give that another pretty good burnish. And we're going to take the half, the gusset that's 6 3/4, add glue to that, one side. We want to put that all the way, so you're going to grab this, so you have your fold at the top. You want this to go right across that fold, right up to the edge, and then we can burnish. Make sure that we don't have any overlapping of anything here. I want to make sure we're all even, and then I can burnish the inside. Then you're going to take your 2 4-inch ones and do the same thing on the sides. Add glue to one side, bring it in right up to the edges. If a little bit hangs over, make sure that it's hanging over at the open end so that you can cut it off easier. Like so. I have just a little corner there that I want to snip off. And there's that gusset. I'm going to go in and do the other side. Again, these are 1 inch by 4 inches, and they're scored at half. I'm going to bring that right to my edge. And that one fit much better than the last one. Not sure how that happened. Making sure we don't have any overlapping, and then we can get that all burnished. All right, so now what you want to do is put your side ones down, add just a touch of glue to that little area where we added our mitering, and then put this one down on top of those, and that's just going to secure the corners of that pocket. And give it a good burnish so nothing rumples or ripples. And once I have everything decorated, this will go in like so. And then when you open to the back, you'll have this nice pocket on the back that you can put something in, as well as the other pages. So then again, we have our piece that we made. This is dry now, with our gussets on the back of the pocket. You can also notch this pocket if you so choose, which I might. You will have seen in the walkthrough if I chose to do that. And you would just put your adhesive on these 3 gussets. Bring this as close to here. We don't have to center this. You want a little bit more space on the left than you have on the right. But still leave a little bit of space so that you know that this is going to open and close nicely. And then we can put, I will probably put a magnet closure of some sort on here. So the final panel is going to have a fun little waterfall with a pocket under it. And for that, we have several pieces. We are going to score. You will have a bottom pocket that will be under this little waterfall. It's an asymmetrical waterfall, so different sizes. We're going to have the bottom pocket, which is 6 by 3.5. We want to score this at half on 3 sides. So half, turn, half, turn, and half. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame here. And I am. Okay. And then we'll just miter right at the cross section there of where we just did that. And also on the tops here. And that's what you will have for that. Then we will have 4 pieces. One is a 4 3/4 by 7 1/4. Put this in your scoreboard with 7 1/4 across the top and score it half. And go ahead and miter those sides. Set that one aside. Your next one is 4 1/4 by 7. I'm going to flip that to 7, and we're going to score it a half. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and miter the sides. This is a fairly simple folio. I get asked all the time to do a little bit simpler projects. So that's what I was going for here. Your third piece is 3 3/4 by 6 3/4. Put that with 6 3/4 across your scoreboard. And again, we're going to score it half. And we're going to miter our sides. And the last one is the smallest, 3 1/4 by 6 1/2. We are going to score this at half on the 6 1/2. And again, we're going to miter those sides. So this is what you will have. You will have these 4 pieces from largest to smallest. For these, what you're going to do is we are going to put these all together for starters. Let's fold and burnish down all of our score lines. All right, we're going to start with the large one and go to the next size, which is our 4 1/4 by 7. Add glue. And we want to bring this up to the top and try to keep 1/4 inch of space all the way around. So the sides and the bottom should have 1/4 inch of space showing of the blue. Well, it's all blue right now, right? I'm just not getting this perfectly straight, and that's what I want. So that's better. Give that one a good burnish. And we will move on to the 3 3/4 by 6 3/4. Add your adhesive to the flap. And again, we're going to put this on, leaving 1/4 inch space. And you can measure. I am not. And once I have that on there, give that a really good burnish. Not under the glue gel. I need to go under and see if that adheres, because I went under the paper and that's not what I wanted to do. And then of course the 3 1/4 by 6 1/2. And we are going to do the same thing. And we're going to, again, leave about 1/4 inch of space on both sides and on the bottom. That one got a little crooked on me. All right, and this is what you will have. This fun little waterfall that is not all the same size. I need this. So then we're gonna have our band that is gonna come up with a magnet to close this. This is 1 1/2 by 6. Just go in and score this at, I think 5 will do it. Let me see here. Let's put this on and we'll see. I've got all this other stuff in my way. So this will be here. And we're going to have a journaling element that's going to go with this. So yes, that will work just fine. So we're going to take the 6 and we're going to score it at 5. So that's going to give us 1 inch on the bottom to attach to our portion under the pocket. This will go under a pocket and go up. So then the pocket obviously will go right here that we just made. We're going to fold on the score lines and burnish. Get a nice crisp pocket. And then your band will go under that and be glued. The pocket will glue over the top of it. This will go right on our page like so. These will go on here like so. And we will have that element, journaling element here. So that is going to be this fun little folio. All right, so I wanted to show you, I did go ahead and decorate this here, and I wanted to show you where I added the magnet. So on the back of our little belly band here, there is a magnet. And then on the underside of this paper above the pocket, there's also a magnet. Excuse me. For our middle section, which you can see I haven't finished decorating yet, and I will, I added ribbon underneath on this side, and this is the seam binding. I will put the color below. I don't know it right off the top of my head. And then for our back panel, I am going to, excuse me, I'm going to add a stack pocket here, and I will show you how I'm going to do that. I apologize for my voice. I'm a little under the weather today. And then we will do a simple decorating of this panel, and I'm probably going to add an angled pocket, but I will show you that as well. So for this portion, this little stack pocket, what you will need is a 6 by 7 1/2 inch piece of the Navy Artisan. And you are simply going to put that with your 6 across the top. We are going to score it half, and at 5 1/2, we're going to turn, and then we are going to score this at 4 1/2. Never mind my extra scoring here, that's going to go away. So what we want to do with this is we want to fold this up and be able to put this here, and we will do these as well. So I'm going to grab a smaller pair of scissors here, and on this top score line right here, I am going to miter down to the corner, and then I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to just miter up to the corner, and that's going to give me this little triangle shape that I cut out. I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to miter to the corner, and on here I'm going to miter to the corner. And I will show you how that looks. Okay, and then you can miter your tops of both of your pockets. And then this is what you will have. So you want to fold these back. And I am just going to get my scoreboard out of the way here. Fold these ones back as well. These will fold in. These are going to fold up and attach to the pocket like so. I'm going to grab a bone folder here and do a little bit of burnishing. And that's going to give you this little double pocket. You'll have a pocket here and your pocket in the back. And we are simply going to add glue to the bottom portion first. And this will not have, I forgot I need to add, make sure this is going to fit. It does. I want to make sure that this does not go beyond our score line over here, or our book fold. That's good. All right. So you are simply going to add glue to your 1/2 inch sides on just the larger pocket for now. And if you want the bottom portion gusseted, you can add a gusset to it. I am just going to add glue. Actually, so I'm actually going to go ahead and add a gusset to that. So you'll need a 5 inch by 1 inch piece of the Navy Artisan. Score that at half, fold it, burnish it, and then we will miter our sides here. I already have some glue on there, but let's just grab a little bit more. I'm going to put glue on one side of that gusset I just made. Pull these up for a second, and then we can just simply slip this, and as soon as I get it stuck a little better, I will show you. I'm just going to pull this up to the top to make sure everything looks good, and I have a little tiny bit of that corner kind of hanging off, so let's try that again. I'm going to miter these just a little bit more. You can also simply snip that back corner that's next to the score line down straight, and it will sit on your pocket a little bit better. All right, I'm adding glue, and this is what I mean. If you can see that, I had my miter and then I just went down straight. Let's pull this back in. Make sure we are lining up nicely. All right, there we go. That's better. I just don't want it to overlap, and it seems to want to, and I don't want that. It keeps sliding on me. I don't want it to be over the fold of the pocket, and for some reason it wants to slide. It's being very difficult today, so bear with me here. That's better. Okay, finally. You just really want to make sure it lines up with the bottom of the pocket rather than going over it, and mine just kept wanting to slide. All right. Excuse me. And you can just simply add a tiny bit of glue to the edge where it's mitered and fold over your sides. Give those a quick burnish. And that one didn't stick. You might have to hold it for a minute. Mine didn't want to stick. Give this a quick burnish. And I'm going to add some glue on all three of those little gussets. And then we will bring in our book. And I'm going to adhere this to the page. I want to go all the way to the bottom of that white paper I put on. And make sure we're going all the way over here. And then just make sure that everything closes properly with no sticking. And then you can open that up and burnish. Now your bottom pocket here will not have the gusset on the bottom. Just those side gussets. And now we're just going to add glue to those little side gussets that I speak of. And you can fold that smaller pocket up. Give that a good burnish. I like to run my bone folder right up next to it just to kind of push it up against the above pocket a little better. And that way we don't have any sticking when we turn. And then it's very simple to decorate because you can slide your paper in. That concludes my tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed this fun little folio and you grab this paper. It is absolutely adorable for your summer projects. Have a wonderful crafty day. Bye-bye.